What's up, guys? Hopefully you can hear me. I'm outside, so if it's bad, I can switch and go back inside. But I mean, it's nice out, so why would I be outside? 3 drink minimum podcast. It is episode whatever 7. Who cares? But fresh off the win, man. I know 2.5 minutes. Well, you know how it goes. It's never really like that, but who cares, man? Let's talk about this game. Let's get into some of the things that just we saw, man. The roller coaster ride. The last couple of weeks, we've been talking about, oh, these games have been boring. These games have, because it's a blowout. So we've been complaining or whatever. But this type of game, this is what the Chargers are, man. This is what they do. They make games interesting that really have no reason to be interesting. I don't know. There was there was a lot to take away from this, but I don't think there was a lot of good on the Chargers end. But with that said, good teams win when they don't play their best, and that's what they did. So let's start off with some questions here. It's RK here asks, what's wrong with Casey? Yeah, something's up with Casey Hayward, man. It's I don't know what's going on, honestly, because if you watch him, it's not like guys are just running by him. Teams are throwing his way, and he's just not making plays, man. That's really all it comes down to. A couple weeks ago, over the last couple weeks, it's really been Trevor Williams getting picked on, but this week, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how many catches he gave up, but it just seems like he's playing at an average level when for the last 2-3 years he's been here. Like he's been elite, top 3 at worst. So it's tough to keep up that kind of play consistently for that long. So it's not too much of a surprise to see him kind of come back down to earth, but it couldn't have happened at a worse time for the Chargers. But that's just where they are right now. They're a defense that isn't very good. And they're going to have to basically stop teams or hold teams to field goals. I just want to check in real quick. How can you guys hear me? How's the sound? Is it a bad echo or are we good to go here? All right, I'll take that as good to go. All right, good. Okay, so Ekeler came back down to earth. So I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, but it felt like to me the usage wasn't the same. So they didn't really use Ekeler like they would have used Gordon. I felt like they used Ekeler like they would have used Ekeler normally, which I didn't really like that because normally, so they still used him on a couple of these, fakes. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. They didn't game plan for Ekeler. They didn't act like Ekeler was going to be the lead back. And he ended up having 12 carries for 42 yards. He also had 5 catches for 26 yards, but it didn't seem like they were basically ready for him to be the lead back. And I don't want to say this, but it seems like they didn't know what to do without Melvin Gordon. So I mean, take that for what it's worth. And obviously, Gordon's been really good this year, but there wasn't any real adjustments for Ekeler. So it's hard for me to say Ekeler came back down to earth when I thought it was just more of the team just didn't adjust. But it was kind of last minute, so I guess that's just kind of how it goes. Justin Harris asked, anything on Kyzir White? He came in and took Emmanuel's spot. Emmanuel on the field less. I think Kyzir is out for 2 more weeks. I think the plan is for him to try to give it a go when he comes back, when they play the Seahawks and they come back. So we'll see how that goes. Let me see some of the things that I wrote down. So I actually thought the Titans had a really good game plan coming into this. It was pretty clear that they wanted to do whatever they could to keep the Chargers offense off the field. And, of course, the Chargers score in 1 play. So that looks good. But here are some of the Titans' just possessions, how they were in the game. So first drive, 13 plays. They had a 9-play drive after that. Chargers go 3 and out. Then they have a 7-play drive for a touchdown, 16-play drive, 8-play drive, and then the final. Or they also had an 11-play drive. So there's just so many plays or so many drives where they did a really good job of executing their game plan. And obviously the Chargers did everything they could to assist them by missing every possible tackle. I don't think I've seen, and we all know that the Chargers are not a very good tackling team, but man, today was something else. They took I feel like Denzel Perryman missed 6 or 7 tackles. And at the same time, it felt like Perryman was he was at the point of attack, ready to make a play nonstop. But he's a leader, man. Like, he's the leader of the defense in that term of just making plays against the run. And he just did not do a good job. And that kind of trickled down on everybody else. Some of the runs by Dion Lewis were like highlight Madden runs. It was all bad. So, yeah, all kind of missed tackles. I would love to see the number of how many tackles the Chargers missed, but I would guess it was over 15. I think they were pretty lucky to hold the Titans out of the end zone. At the end of the first half, really good stuff by Melvin Ingram to get his hand up and tip that pass. So that really basically kept the Chargers in the game. Well, didn't let the Titans get the lead. So 10-6 at halftime. Titans scored to open up, and then they scored that last touchdown. So points before the half would have been good. So that was a big stop by them. I thought Rivers played another good game, man. I know there was a couple of times where he didn't convert, but it was another time where Rivers just cooking in the pocket. He's like money in the pocket. He's doing a really good job avoiding sacks. I know he got sacked a couple of times there in the second half, but he also avoided some sacks in the first half and just really kept the offense going. I've been really impressed by him. And speaking of avoiding sacks, I thought Mariota did a really good job today, man. That just goes back to talking about the defense missing tackles. I don't know. It almost seems like they never practice tackling because Jatavis got stiff-armed by Mariota, man. When do you see that? And this Mariota's bouncing off tackles, spinning off tackles, spinning out of tackles, just doing whatever, man. And the defense should just take this whole bye week and do nothing else but tackling drills. Today's drink of choice is Dos Equis Amber. It is a little bit early, but got to do what you got to do, man. This is why they win. So I'm a team player. I do it for you guys. Somebody asked me during the game, and it's crazy. I guess it's crazy how fast things can turn because 3 weeks into the season, we're all so hyped for, Mike Williams' breakout game or just how he's going to take the next step in his development. And, wow, Tyrell's not very good. What's going on with Tyrell? And now we are like, wow, Tyrell is really good. And what happened to Mike Williams? It's almost like they can't have both be good at the same time. Obviously, Mike Williams had that long touchdown where the Titans just botched the coverage, but Tyrell had another game, man, caught all his targets, 118 yards, won that long 75-yarder, obviously, a touchdown. So who do you guys think is better? Is it Mike Williams or is it Tyrell Williams? I guess maybe the better question would be, who is more important to the Chargers offense? Is it Tyrell or is it Mike? I actually think that so Tyrell gives him more just because he can stretch the field without, like on Mike Williams' touchdown, it was schemed open is what you would say. So Tyrell has the difference. Tyrell can make the difference where he can just run by you. He can win with actual speed where Mike's going to have to – he's probably going to have to do some sort of, body or out-physical you. Just make some sort of contested catch where I don't think that's the same with Tyrell. And I know everybody hates him, and I'm not his biggest fan either, but just seeing, Travis Benjamin catch a comeback today, and I think that might have been his only catch, but, yeah, it was his only catch. But those are the things that, Mike Williams should be doing where they trust Travis to do that. So I think that kind of tells you what they think about him. But I do like the idea of going to going to Mike Williams in the red zone there. That drop, I'll call it a drop, but I mean, it's a tough play to make. At the same time, you want your 7th overall pick to come down with that. All right, what do we got here? Let's check out some of these questions. Melvin Gordon is going to get paid. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see just because, I mean, the injuries are holding him back. They really are. So if this hamstring stretches out, we'll see if he does, man, because if they are able to have success without him, and I know Ekeler didn't have a good game today, didn't have a great game that obviously we hope for, but if they struggle without him, then yeah, he'll get paid. But if they're able to basically score over, so 20 points is not going to be enough, but maybe 28, 24, that'll look really well for the Chargers not to pay him. Thoughts on Bagley or whatever, Bradley, the kicker. We'll call him the kicker. He hasn't missed a kick. That's good. That's all we want. His kickoffs, man, he must really have a noodle leg because none of his kicks, unless they're doing this by design, which is tough because they're losing a lot of field position by doing so. But I don't know, man. I feel like it's tough to trust the kicker because he hasn't really been put in a pressure situation. And when I say pressure, I mean was asked to kick over 45 yards or whatever. Also, what I'm eating, apple fritter, got some omelets brewing. That's what I got going on today. Little Top Golf action later on after this first game. Go Bears. Okay, back to this. Yeah, I did say Schefter said something about Bosa coming back. So he said Bosa has been working the past couple weeks and he's been regaining his form, getting back in shape, and he's scheduled to play against Seattle, which is pretty big time. Just as you saw today, Bosa is going to finish those sacks. And he's going to take pressure off Melvin Ingram, man. And I thought Ingram was doing really well this first half or whatever you want to call it without Bosa playing. So they're going to be so much better with Bosa. He's just such a good player, getting after the passer, stopping the run, basically making everybody better. So maybe Phylon will be able to make plays, Legion will be able to make plays, and so on and so forth. So that'll be big. 5-2, that's all that matters. Yeah, so I was seeing after the game, Phil Simms and CBS, they were talking about Vrabel should have done this or gone with the flow of the game, and they had all these soft factors where the Titans were dominating the game. What the hell are you talking about? So they had some momentum, yes, but I wouldn't say that they were dominating the game by any means. And I felt like if the game was going to go to overtime, I was actually pretty confident that the Chargers would have got the ball and marched down the field. And I know that the Titans had just marched 89 yards, but I'm taking my chances with Mariota still all the day. I feel like they would have won if it wasn't in overtime. I actually like the call, like the aggressive mentality. You're on the 2-yard line. You just march 89 yards. Just give your offense a chance. That's as close as you're going to get. It was a bad play call, but it wasn't a bad idea to go for it. But 5-2, that's really what matters. Yeah, that Deion Lewis one, I can only imagine. That's like some high school highlights runs that get you a D1 scholarship. You rarely see that in the NFL. You rarely see that in college. So the fact that the Chargers, of course, were the team to do that makes perfect sense. I just it is really tough to be that bad at tackling, but leave it up to the Chargers to find a way. What I think the important part is, though, as bad as they played, as much as they bend, they actually didn't break. I think they did a good job in the red zone. So the Titans were in the red zone 5 times, which come on. The Titans, before today, the Titans were so bad on offense. Like, they had never scored like 20, or they scored 20 points once. They needed, what was it? Oh, they needed overtime to get it. They had not scored a touchdown in the last 8 quarters. There was just so many offensive stats that made perfect sense that they were going to have some success today. So, oh man. I wasn't too surprised that they had that type of success, just because they're a heavy run team, man, and the Chargers like to play light in the box. There was one play where Derrick Henry ran for 7 yards, and the Chargers went like their dime defense, but Adrian Phillips was in the middle at linebacker, and Denzel Perryman was on the field, but he was out wide. Like, that's the stuff that this team does. So it's not surprising to see the type of mistakes they had. But they, in the red zone, they did what they were supposed to. They held the Titans to only 2 scores in 5 attempts. That is really, really good. 40% in the red zone, that's good. But on the contrary, it didn't feel like the Chargers offense was very good in the red zone. And they were 0 for 2. It seemed like the play calling was just crazy. And we all remember Keenan throwing that big fit. That was good. I saw Ruben say something about this. Ruben Gonzalez from BFTB, and I agree with it. So Keenan, he's just like throwing this big fit and acting like a diva, but that's kind of what you want, man. You want him to know that, hey, I'm the man. Throw me the ball. I'm your guy. Like, Mike Williams isn't your guy. Gates isn't your guy. Whoever else isn't your guy. It was, if you remember the play. So what had happened was the Titans had 2 guys over Keenan, and Phillip Rivers just went right away from that. He saw that there's 2 guys on him, and he just went the other direction. When in reality, the Titans, like, they had him bracketed, but Keenan was still open, which is pretty impressive in itself. But I don't necessarily knock Rivers for looking the other way, just because the read tells you to not throw it into double coverage. But I really do like the fact that, Keenan he wants the ball. You should want, as the best player in those situations, you should want the ball, man. Tyrell's a free agent at the end of the season. Sure is. Yeah. I do wonder how they're going to handle that. Like, if they're going to let him walk, or they're going to sign him on maybe like a prove-it deal. I guess it'll all depend on how Tyrell finishes up this season. But I mean, shit, if he keeps up how he's going right now, it'll be pretty tough to let him walk. Yeah, Bagley, the kicker. Lynn said in the post conference they're not by design. So he just has a noodle leg and he can't make it into the end zone. Got it. Great to hear. Surely that will not come back to haunt them in a big game. Anybody got any hot takes, man? What's some hot takes that we saw today? A really good hot take would have been if Eckler would have had a good game, to not let Gordon back on the field, but that's tough after that. Any other hot takes? Kaiser White should start over Denzel Perryman. How about that? What else do we have? Oh, so I was kind of interesting to see. So Joe Barksdale was active, but I don't think he played today. Tevy was in there, and I remember Tevy got beat for 1 sack, but I thought we might see Barksdale in there, but did not at all. So I wonder how that's going to work itself out after the bye week, just because they gotta, if they have their best 5 and Tevy is their best 5, that will be interesting. I don't know. I feel like Barksdale just brings them so much in the pass game, and he's not a great run blocker. He doesn't really try, but I don't know. Yeah, everyone on BFTB really hates Gordon. So what I would say on Gordon is, so through the first half, I wrote this, I think, a couple weeks ago, where I thought he was the MVP of the offense, as well as Rivers has been playing, just because he really does mean that much to the offense, and he just gives them a different gear, and he runs really hard, so it's like a perfect complement where Eckler can come in and just gives you that extra burst to feed off of Gordon. Basically, Gordon does – okay, I think Richard might have said this really well. So Gordon is very, very good at what he is good at. He's also very bad at what he is not good at. So we're very bad at what he is bad at. I guess the biggest gripe with Gordon is that, man, he just is not very good in the open field. He will not make you miss. Like there are times where he will like just jump, like try to jump over you or whatever. And that might seem nitpicky, but it seems like he leaves a lot on the bone in that regard. But I mean, come on, like this dude, the last few weeks has been balling out. And I think we saw today that they need him. Like he's going to be like a big part of the offense moving forward. Jatavius needs to sit in the back seat. Man, I cannot believe that he got stiff-armed to hell by a quarterback. I do think that he does bring some good things to the field. I'm not sure. I do want to see him and Kyzir play like on the field at the same time against like some of these teams that aren't going to be like the Titans and just try to run it down your throat. So that'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, Forrest Lamp, man, I don't know what's going on there. Damn, what is up with Forrest Lamp? That dude must not be able to run at all. He must not be able to move because in college he was so good. He was so boring, and that's when you can tell somebody's a good player as a lineman, just because they just don't get beat. There's nothing to see. So, yeah, I would love to see them figure out a way to just get him in the game, man. I feel like he's too valuable of a pick where they had that pick to not give him a shot. So we'll see. We'll see. Adrian Phillips on the field all the time. He's been really good, man. He broke up that 2-point conversion today. Last week he had this play where he was reading Baker Mayfield's eyes and like got in the throwing lane, and that's where he put his hand up and tipped the ball. But even when he's protected at linebacker, they haven't been like crazy gashed. Like there's one play today where he was in the middle and they gave a 7-yard run just because he got blocked by the lineman. But there's been times where he looks like an actual linebacker just coming downhill and beating somebody or just winning with speed and making a tackle. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate Phillips on the defense moving forward here. So one thing that I didn't think that the defense did a good job of today was basically pressuring Mariota. It was either man-to-man coverage that was too obvious, and they didn't have a blitz design, so he was able to basically just throw at the corners, and it wasn't like a pressure either. The corners were playing soft coverage, and it was just easy pitch and catch. Or there was like these soft zones where one of them included Melvin Ingram dropping 20 yards, and that was on 3rd and 10, and the Titans converted. When you do not have a pass rusher, you do not drop your pass rusher 20 yards down the field. That's what they did. They did a bunch of dumb stuff on defense today. Their silver lining was that they were really good in the red zone. But other than that, oh, man, the defense has some work to do. Good news is they get their best player back. Hopefully they get Kyzir back as well. Another thing that I don't think we saw a lot of today was just Derwin blitzing. It seemed like Derwin was predominantly in coverage. And obviously he's really good in coverage, though he did give up that one play to Dion Lewis, but that happens, man. This is one play. I do think that they need to figure out how to keep him involved around the line of scrimmage. So, they just have a lot to work on defense, and we've known that. That's not anything too surprising. Yeah, they wouldn't take away the underneath. Nick Melton said they wouldn't take the underneath away. That's dumb. I don't understand that. So the Titans they have Corey Davis and nobody else, like probably literally nobody else. Don't even cover anybody else. But they were backing off. So Gus Bradley likes to do a lot of zone blitzes, which is great. So take away all that stuff underneath. Make Mariota beat you down the field. Don't give him these easy dump offs or these quick routes where he can stay in rhythm. I think it might have been at halftime where he was like 14 of 18 at one point. That just tells you how easy the Chargers are making it on you, because that's just not the type of quarterback he is. You want to make him throw the ball downfield and make those receivers are really, really bad. The Titans, the Chargers did not make those receivers look really, really bad. One thing that I think Perriman really struggles at is when he's in coverage, he just sinks way too far. Like if there's a running back that's like 5 yards, he'll be 5 yards further than him, and then he'll just close. But by that time, it's too late. Perriman is just not very good at what they call relating to the receiver. He just gets caught in no man's land, and it's really frustrating to watch from a quote unquote coach's standpoint. What do you guys think? If you were the Titans, would you have gone for it at the end there? So you had the momentum. You just marched 13 plays, 89 yards. Would you have played for the extra point and played for overtime, or would you have gone for it? I actually think it was a really good idea to go for it. I don't think it was a really good idea to just be like a straight drop back, open up spread like that. I would have put the ball in Mariota's hands and let him run for it. Let him either give him like a run pass option or do a little shovel pass that usually always works down at the goal line. Just do something. But yeah, they didn't have much of a plan. And by the time, like, if Mariota's holding the ball in the red zone or in the goal line for more than 3-4 seconds, it was probably a bad play. So I don't know, man. It was there was a lot of good things from the Chargers on offense, though. I mean, I think Rivers did a good job. Let me find out what Rivers finished up with. So 19 for 26. 26 attempts. That kind of gives you an idea of how well the Titans did of keeping the ball away from the Chargers. Last game they had 13 drives against the Browns. This game they had 9 drives, sorry. And one of those drives was right before half. So they had 8 actual drives. And, oh, shoot, that might be 7 drives you count when they nailed it out at the end of the game. So 6 fewer drives than last game. That's a good job by the Titans, but not good enough. The Chargers won. That's what really matters. So with the bye week coming up, I think what you want to see when they come out against Seattle, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit next week, what you want to see is continued aggressiveness. I thought towards the end of the game there, it didn't seem like the Chargers were that aggressive on offense. I think they could have done a better job of closing the door, like shutting the door, whether it could have been like a little quick pass to Ekeler out of the backfield. It could have been something to Keenan, which was working underneath, but for whatever reason, they kind of played it close to the vest. That last drive, 6 plays, 16 yards before they punted it back to the Titans. It was a short pass to Ekeler, -1, another short pass, but I don't feel like those were well-designed passes. And then obviously on 3rd and 11, you get the big conversion from Keenan. And then 3rd and 8, you get back to 3rd and 8 again after a run, which, again, not great. If you run, pass against any team in the NFL, not great, especially if you have Phillip Rivers. I am a firm believer in putting the ball in your best player's hands, and Rivers always seems to get them in the right position. So, yeah, man, didn't happen, but luckily they got a stop at the end of the game. 5-2, that's what really matters. I feel like we're good here, boys. I don't think there's much else to talk about here. 5-2, 4 wins in a row. I think if at the beginning of the season, no matter who they lost to, if you said at the bye week they're 5-2 without Hunter Henry, without Joey Bosa, missing Melvin Gordon today, and with all the injuries that they've had, and I don't really like talking about injuries just because, every team has them. It's not like they're the only team battling injuries, but they fought through it, they figured it out, and they won, man. That's 4 in a row. Seahawks on deck. It would be really good to just keep this rolling, man. Hopefully the Bengals beat the Chiefs tonight. Try to get tied for first. I know they have the leg up, but if they can get 5-2 with the Chiefs, that would be a nice deal there. But yeah, 5-2, man. 4 wins in a row. Not much else to take away. It was a good game. It was an exciting game, I will say, and that's kind of what we want to see. So hopefully there's some adjustments on defense moving forward. I'm sure that 99 guy will be a big help, and I feel like just me saying that seems like I'm overstating his value, but I'm not, man. He's the real deal, and I feel like we're gonna find that out pretty soon here. I will say this. Okay, well, and we can talk about this actually next week, but how many sacks do you think Bosa ends up with over the season? I will say he comes out with 5 sacks in the second half of the season, and we pretty much see, yeah, he's really that good. And magically, with Bosa back, we see Casey Hayward get back to his old self with a better pass rush. Trevor Williams is going to have to improve. Jalil Dye, ooh, buddy. He had a couple of missed tackles again today as well. So they just gotta clean that up, man. And hopefully Bosa's the answer. So thanks for sticking around, guys. It's 10:22. Go outside, enjoy your day, watch some football, do whatever you want to do. But Chargers win. That's what matters. Take care, guys.